I made a mistake. Hi, everybody, but I made a mistake. Oh no, I connected from the wrong camera. I wish if I could, I wonder if I could change that. 1 second, please. 1 second, please. I don't know. I'm looking for the customization, slow mode. What a mistake. Can't believe it. I had this camera on and then I was supposed to switch this. What is it? 1 second, please, everybody. Wait. I'm trying to see if I can switch the camera. I don't know where I can switch the camera though. This is not a good camera, but it's okay. Whatever. I guess that's what we get. This is not. This is just a built-in camera. It's not an HD camera. I wonder if I can change it somewhere still. But I don't see where. I don't want to waste your time. Yeah. I don't know where. I looked at the options. I don't see the option here. The only option will be to stop the live and do it again. But I don't want to do that because I will have to promote the link again, etc. Anyway, don't worry. It's not going to be a big show, big live anyway. Just a few things. No big deal. Last look at the settings. If there is anything that I can do to change the camera. I don't see it. So much preparation with my camera, preparing the settings of the camera, and then a stupid mistake, and I'm stuck with a computer camera. Well, it's okay. Like I said, this is not going to be anything special. By the way, I'm going to say right away that I don't have any information from the Toleka crew. There's no news. There's still no communication with them. So don't think that this is some sort of a surprise where I will tell you something new. But I will say something about this shortly. I will say why I think they are not communicating, how I feel about this, and I'll have a short message to them in case they are watching. Wibracja człowieka says in Polish, it doesn't matter, nie ma znaczenia najważniejsza wiedza. It doesn't matter, the knowledge is the most important. Yes, okay. So, how did you like the whole navigation series? Let me start with this. I think it was very cool, very interesting. By the way, I didn't say hello to the people in the chat. So hello, everybody. Hello, and everybody with the blue wrench, moderators, and other friends, and other people who are not in the chat, who are just watching. So thank you. Yes, Happy Girl says she loved it so much. Great. Yes, I liked it very much as well. And also because, like I said in my lives before, it does connect to so many areas of our life and explains more about how the consciousness works in general. Because, like we said a million times, the technology is based on how the consciousness works itself. Like, for example, I really like this concept of the molecular resistance. Molecular resistance, where the big ship, when it goes through the hyperspace, it goes slowly and gradually adjusting all the molecules because of this phenomenon called molecular resistance. And it reminded me of actually the humans as a collective. They are sort of like a ship where it takes time and it's challenging to move the collective's frequency to a new state. And because of that resistance of the molecules, and it takes a special chain of events and a special power, special motors of the ship to move that collective to a new state. And we, as starseeds, I believe us to be that motor. We are the motor of the ship who is trying to move and wrap the collective in that sort of a toroidal bubble in the special frequency through which later we can move that collective, or the collective moves itself to the new destination, which, by the way, like she explained, it's not moving to the new destination, it's just becoming the new destination. So that's the analogy here that I came up with. I thought it's very interesting. And also another point that I found interesting is when she was describing how, in order for the ship to move from the place of origin, which is a number 1044, to another number destination like 8342, you need to become that number. You cannot force that number 1044 to the destination, because there will be no numbers around it that sustain it. You need to become that new destination with the new numbers that sustain it. And then the older numbers around you, like 1043, 1045, will no longer be there to sustain you. And that's also an analogy to what happens when we are shifting to a new state of being or a new state of existence, new life, new frequency. The numbers around us, those previous ones that were sustaining our mode, our state, which in that case, those numbers could be anything, could be our job, our friends, the place that we live. Those numbers are falling off, right? And we are moving to the new number, and we'll be surrounded by the new numbers that sustain us. So if we become 8342, now around us there will be 8341, 8344, no longer the numbers that sustain 1044. And that means that a lot of our circumstances that we are used to, that used to sustain us before in the previous frequency vibrational state, will fall off, will gradually fall off. And it's important here, like, not to have resistance to that process, because that's what happens with those ships. The ships have a tendency to stay where they are on the molecular level. They have a resistance to move. And that's why it takes really, really super powerful motors to move them. So if we're going to have resistance to the shift, to the change, then it's going to take a greater, motor power of our will and intention and our heart force to move us into that new location. So resistance is something that we need to let go of. So that's, anyway, interesting analogies that I saw here as well with our life. I'm sure that some of you probably got different conclusions from all this, but it's always interesting how it relates to our life. It's not just some kind of out there abstract ideas, but it actually relates to our life. Yes. Okay, this is a very informal life. I'm not going to talk more about this stellar navigation. I think you got this. I have a few other points that I do want to mention. Just checking here if everything okay. I'm still angry that I didn't change the camera, but okay, I need to let go of that as well somehow. Okay, so first, maybe I will mention something about our trip. We just came back from Spain, where we went on vacation. Everything went great. Some people were asking me about the restrictions at the airports and how did I get in Spain. Well, actually, yes, there's no more restrictions here. In that sense, you can travel within the European countries. I do not know how it is outside Europe. Actually, Alex, the doctor, who I mention sometimes, he just went to Mexico from Spain. And I asked him the same, and he said it was actually one of the fewest countries that lets you in without any BS, any restrictions. So he's there right now traveling as well. So there was no restrictions, no PCRs. Everything seemed to be as before. A lot of movements. The airport was busy as always. The plane was busy, full of people. We only had to wear masks on the plane from Helsinki to Barcelona. That was the only time, that was the only restriction. But everything else was fine. Actually, the first feeling that I had when I entered the plane, and the plane here within Finland, was like this strange sensation of freedom. Like the past 2 years, I felt so restricted and felt so squeezed. I like to travel, I like to move around and to feel that I can go anywhere I want, and I felt quite squeezed. So in that moment, when I entered the plane, I got this feeling, this vibration of something opening up in the air, maybe like the memory and sentiment from the past, when I used to travel more and be more free this way. So I really felt good on the plane like before. Um, Everything was great. The Spain trip went very well as well. We actually stayed with Tony and his wife, who were our Spanish. I hate that word, followers. Well, that's how we met. That's how we met. They were following the channel. That word followers, I don't like it, but in Spanish, when you click subscribe, it's not, I don't think it's even subscribe, it says follow. That's why it's like that word is in my mind. But yes, we met a few years ago in Spain. He met us through our Spanish channel, and this year, he continues to be quite involved, because he's the one that does Spanish transcripts separately from what we do with the transcripts, because I do the transcripts, but separately, him and his friend, they have a website and they publish all the transcripts, but in Spanish. And not just video transcripts, they do like our lives transcripts. Videos that don't have transcripts, they transcribe it. So thank you very much, Tony. It was a very nice time. He cooked for us, and Spanish dishes, and the weather was great. It was exactly like Matthias wanted, because people were asking how did Matthias survive the heat. It was super, super hot. It was around 30 degrees every day, no single cloud almost in the sky. He survived quite well because that's what he wanted. He likes the sun. He sits there in the garden and he just cooks himself for hours in the sun. Like suddenly he has this desire to fill himself with the sun. So he really liked it. We did get burned a little bit. I had to be careful with him because he never experienced that sort of heat and so many days. But it went fine. And a quick anecdote, funny, like people who come to Spain or to all these places, they are like half jokingly, say things about sharks, or there are sharks or whatever. But we, of course, we were not afraid. No one is really afraid. If people swim, this is very unusual. There are sharks, but we still were like making half jokes. Watch out for the fin out there swimming around. But actually, it didn't turn out to be such a joke after all, because when we left, and of course my mom had to be the one to inform me about this, because everywhere I go, she always informs me of tragedies happening in the area. Yes, I don't know. I always tell her, stop projecting that reality on me. And she's like, well, that's not me. I'm not the author of these events. I'm just sharing with you what I found. So anyway, when we came back, good thing that it was when we came back, she sent me the article in Polish, but later I found the same article in English and Spanish. Well, actually, in the town where we were, near Barcelona, there were sharks discovered, spotted, and several beaches were closed down. The beach where we went, several beaches were closed down because of the sharks being spotted, and some kind of a white type of a shark. I don't remember. That actually is not that common in that area at all. It doesn't happen. But yes, that article you can find in Spanish, in English. We left Spain on the 17th, and that article came out on the 14th. And actually, funny, on the last day when we were there with Tony and Matthias, we went on a short walk to reach some sort of a little beaches hidden from the main beaches, and we saw a red flag on the main beach. And I even asked Tony, like, a red flag? Why? The waves were very calm, so there was no reason for that. And he said, kind of not knowingly exactly, he said, well, probably sharks. I didn't take that seriously because I'm like, sharks. And apparently that was the reason. That's the reason why those beaches had red flags, because they were spotted. So funny, well, funny, not so funny story. So that's that. Now, at 10 o'clock, which is in 40 minutes, I have the live in Spanish. So, as I told you before already, I'm not going to do this very long. C is saying, Gosia, will you come to Vietnam someday? I would love to go to Vietnam. Actually, Vietnam, Cambodia, Mongolia is on my list. Yes? Matthias is looking at me.
Mention Nico's back and give people hugs.
Okay.
Because he has problems.
Yeah, I will. Okay, thanks. Matthias is mentioning Miko. I will mention Miko very, very shortly. So yeah, Mongolia, Vietnam, Cambodia. I always wanted to go to those areas. Yes, very, very, very strange. I'm going to say this. And Miko, and what happened with Miko is Miko, who, for you who don't know, he's Matthias's, my boyfriend's brother, and he's the one who does the website. He's the one who creates the website from the start, from the code, you know, from zero, from the scratch, basically. And Matthias and I, we upload the transcripts. But Miko always has, you know, he has a difficult life. He's raising his 4 kids by himself, small children, and he's busy with work, and he has health issues. And very, very strange thing that happened, I'll mention this. He just recently broke his back. He was in the forest, and he was walking, and he fell. I don't know if it was some sort of an abyss that he didn't see or something. He fell and broke part of his back. He was in the hospital. I think he's better now. We don't know exactly at this point, but he broke his back, part there. But now, a very, very strange coincidence, which I do not believe in coincidences. At the same time, almost in the same week, the same time period, and we know this from Tony, who hosted us in Spain, his friend Rodrigo, who is maintaining their website, as I told you, they upload their transcripts to the website, which in Spanish. He broke his back as well. He fell and he broke his back, and they just broke a different part of the back. And he was in the hospital as well, recovering. But what's strange about this is that 2 people who are responsible for maintaining 2 of our major websites broke their back at the same time. It's very strange. I don't believe in coincidences. I don't know what this exactly could mean or how this happened, but it's just too strange, you know, that coincided at the same time. So I want you to send hugs to Miko and to Rodrigo as well, for the recovery. Miko always needs a lot of loving energy. He doesn't have an easy life. So if you can do that. Thank you very much. Urmilama says Matrix attack. I don't know. It's strange. It's some sort of yeah, because I mean, how statistically, how is it possible that first people break their backs, and 2 at the same time, and 3, 2 of these guys are behind our website. One is Spanish on not our official website. Them, it's like they're doing it voluntarily on their side, but still. And then Miko. So thank you very much for your wishes. And hello to Miko. I don't know if he's watching. Sometimes I know he's watching, sometimes he's not. There are too many of these videos. But if he's watching, then a lot of hugs to you, Miko, and recover well. Okay. So now let's turn our attention towards the Taigetans, Varunians, and the Toleka crew, and what's going on, if they are back. First of all, for those of you who are maybe not following, you know, what's going on with us all the time. Yeah, we haven't been in the communication with them now for about 2.5 months. Now, I never said that they are not there. I only said that. Sorry, Alice Preseda, get well soon, Miko and Tony. No, Tony is fine. It's Rodrigo, who is the website administrator for Tony. Rodrigo. Okay, I never said that they were gone. I never said that they left. because some people understand that since we're not in communication, so they are not in the orbit. I don't think they ever left, especially not Yaski and especially not Athena. They never had any intention of leaving. Actually, many times when we were talking, and for example, asking Athena, like, "Hey, what will you do once your team finally leaves? Like, you decide, Alanim decides this is it, and they return." Thank you very much, Raymond. Thank you. Well, actually, since 2018. Raymond says, thanks for all your hard work since 2017. We started the contact in 2017, but I didn't start working on this until April, May 2018. So anyway, every time we ask Athena, like, what would you do once the team decides to go home? She responded, I will probably stick around Earth. And Yaski, I'm pretty sure she would as well. You remember that they were not born in Taygeta. They spent some time there, here and there, but their main involvement and home, so to speak, is around Earth. They are very involved and attached to what's going on here. So I don't think they left, especially because on the last day when we had a communication, Athena said, until tomorrow. See you tomorrow. And as you see from the navigation stellar navigation video, one of those, she said, I would like to develop a numerical matrix, something like that. She said that she would like to go into mapping out the numerical matrix, but another day. She was also working on the schematic for the Teleka ship. So definitely they were not planning to go anywhere. So it had to be something sudden. It had to be some sort of a drastic situation that happened. As I always say, I only hope that they are okay, like physically that they're okay, that nothing happened. But apart from that, if you ask me how do I feel about them not being in communication right now, well, there are different levels here. But generally, I feel okay because I trust them. I trust in their decisions. And I trust in what they are doing. They are probably busy with whatever it is that came up, something that prohibits them to communicate with us, or whatever decision it was. I trust that decision. As we always say, we are not here. We are not their priority. Their priority is not to talk to humans on Earth. That includes even us and even this project, because you have to remember there are just few people on the ship that really talk to us. Aneka, that was the main one, and then of course not talking about Svaru before, but Aneka, and then Yaski, of course. But even Yaski was coming less and less. Just when she had something to communicate, and Athena, then she became in charge. But that's it. And there are 30 people on board, and those people are involved in many tasks, and those tasks are their priority. It's not talking to humans, it's not talking to us. This project is important to Yaski and Athena and Aneka mainly. But the rest, well, most of them were supportive of this project, of this work, but not all of them, as I always mention this, not all of them, because they saw this as too draining for the people who were involved, like Aneka and Svaru before. They saw Aneka getting weaker, as she was more and more involved. So they don't want that for their friends. So I completely trust their decision, and I do want them to take this time to recover, to stay away from from difficult things happening here with the humans. So I hope they are taking a break from that. And there's always so many things happening. Maybe I'll mention that a bit later. So 1 second here. So yes, I completely trust them. I have some sort of a inner knowing, or inner programmed knowing, or something like a subconscious memory of just trusting that what they know what they are doing, and trusting that whatever they are doing is what they need to be doing. It's kind of like you are part of the team, and part of that team is going on a mission to do something. You're okay with that because you know that they know what they're doing. So that's what it is. But there's a fine line here, by the way, and that's for the Tagetans if they are watching. Fine line, because me being okay with this and trusting them, it doesn't mean like I don't miss them or that we don't need them in our life. Because there was a time in the past where they were gone for a while, and then me and Robert, we felt this is our responsibility to kind of keep the torch going and keep the frequency elevated and not to fall into depressions and show ourselves to the world like we are so dependent on this, like, oh my God, we're going to die. So we kept our posture and maintained strong and kept doing the videos. And later they told us like, oh, we saw you were so fine without us being gone. Like, like it didn't affect us. So there's a fine line here between me transmitting to you and to them that I'm fine with this, and also between not making it look like I don't miss them or that I don't need them. I just trust their decision. That's all. But I do want them to be back. I do want you to be back. Do come back, because yeah, because I mean they are our friends, um, and I just, yeah, we just need them to be back for a variety of different reasons. And but don't feel rushed if you are watching this too. Like, don't feel rushed. Like, don't come back because of us. Like, do whatever you have to do, and then come back when you are ready to come back. And don't feel that we will be angry or or something like that for, for not knowing what's going on, or that you left so suddenly. I completely, like, I don't know how, but I completely trust that, they know what they are doing. And you have to remember there's so many things at play there, and there's so many things we don't understand, so many things going on behind the scenes, so many things that we even didn't know. So you always have to be prepared for anything with any extraterrestrial contact. It's not like being, with your friend on Earth where you're expecting certain things. This, you have to forget about expectations. Forget about expectations and just go with the flow with whatever is going on, and be prepared mentally for anything at any point. So do come back though, and don't feel, this is for the Tagetans and for Varunians, even if it, like, I don't know, takes years. Do come back. We'll not be angry. We'll not be like, okay, we require explanations now. No, it's not like that at all. Even if it's in 10 years, I hope it's not. Do come back. That's my message to them. In the meantime, I am using this opportunity, sort of opportunity, to make the videos that I have accumulated from the past. As I always say, there's so much always accumulated. At the end of the video, I will tell you what those topics will be. As you know, a lot of comments on the current affairs, they used to come from them, not from me. So being that we are not in a communication in this very moment, don't ask me, oh my God, you gave her that big one. Yes. Don't ask me about what we know or what we think about this and this current affair. And that's because, I don't know, I'll be totally honest, I don't really follow that much what's going on. And that's because I'm so just focused on making the video. So I don't follow the news. I don't know what's going on there that much. And and I don't have such strong opinion about things. I don't have knowledge myself about certain things. I mean, I can have a certain opinion based on what I learned from them in the past, so I can somehow contrast that. But if there is something specific, I will not know. So we will just have to wait for them to come back, or actually exercise your own independent thought. Use this situation to be more self-reliant, because what happened here with this project, I feel was that a lot of people started to be really reliant on, okay, what will Yaski or Athena or Aneka say about this? What does this mean, or what does that mean? So again, we are stopping to think on for ourselves and waiting for someone to tell us what whatever event or a situation means. So this is an opportunity for us all to be more self-reliant and use our own brain. I think we have been given so much already. The foundation has been established. And based on that foundation, we can reach our own conclusions and investigate and know things by ourselves. Okay, so that's that. Also, some people, that's in Spanish, it happened that some people, were saying, oh, why are you talking about this and this subject if there is so many more important things to talk about, like the current affairs? Again, as I already said, first, I don't have the source right now to comment in that exact detailed way like I used to on current affairs. And also, this is really not my type of a channel. I am not some sort of a current affairs channel to inform people of what's going on. I've never been this type of a channel. If we did inform people about anything, it was because Athena or Aneka or Zvaru or Yaski were willing to share something on the subject. So we did. But it's not like that was the focus on my channel. So that's that. In the meantime, we are also dealing with controversies in both Spanish world and the English world. There's always so much going on. Like, for example, in the Spanish world, every time they disappear, the Taygetans and the Svaronians, people appear who start to channel the Taygetans. So right now, for example, in the Spanish world, there is someone who is claiming very strongly that they have a contact with the Taygetan crew who is communicating with them. Aneka is communicating, and Dorkalel, I don't know who else. And of course, me and Robert already explained this is not happening. Why? How do I know this? Well, because Taygetans themselves told us that they do not channel and not to believe any Taygetans supposedly channeled out there. Yes, it is possible sometimes to perhaps meet in the astral, Yaski, for example, who is traveling around and she's being mischievous and she might want to be tempted to, maybe, connect with certain people, but it doesn't happen very often either. But it's not like some sort of a specific purposely organized intention by the Taygetans to go and channel. If they had something to say, oh, by the way, and that person is saying that they have a message to us. It always happens. I do believe that if they had something to say, they would not go to any third parties. They know how to find us. They might have limitations on the internet communication, but they would find, I believe, other ways to communicate with us. Especially, they would not do that, channel messages to us through other people, knowing that we are not going to believe it, because we have been warned by them themselves not to believe it. So that's that. I will say a little bit more about this in the Spanish channel because it doesn't really relate to the English one. You don't know what I'm talking about. The English world has its own level of controversies, and there always will be. And that's that. I don't have much more to say. Maybe if you have any more questions. Yeah, Brad M is saying, I have received telepathic messages from Aneka in the past, not channeling. See, but the problem with this is that I have also seen people talking about they received messages from me in the astral. They have met me in the astral and I was communicating and things like that. It might happen, but it might happen without Aneka knowing, because they told us specifically, we don't on purpose go and communicate with people. We are done with that. We don't do that. So if there was any sort of a communication with anybody telepathically, it's kind of like you are fusing with that person's field that is atemporal, but without that person necessarily consciously knowing that they are communicating. So I don't know. All I know is they told us specifically we do not channel and we will never channel. So they are kind of even discouraged when they see all these fake Taigetan supposedly channeling and communicating with people. And again, this is not coming from us. This is not coming from me. This is not me trying to have some sort of a exclusivity of the contact. It's coming from them. It's coming from them themselves. That's what they told us. Yes, Dr. Enoch says, we all love listening to you speak, just so continue to produce videos with your own cosmic subjects or anything you want to teach us. Yes, yes. So on that note, even though I do not have any special current affairs notifications and updates, I will share with you what I have because there's so much still accumulated and it's very valid. For example, I'm going to share with you what I have. For example, the next video, it's going to be a short video, a conversation between Athena and our Spanish Robert about responsibility and culpability. Short video, and then it's going to be about Saturn. We'll continue with a solar system, and it's going to be about Saturn. And then a little conversation with Yaski from last year about ascension, and then also the conversation with all of them. Different pieces of conversation about soul traps, because many people believe that there are those soul traps, and also memory deletion machines out there. And there are machines that delete your memories, and we are in some sort of a trap here. So we're going to address that. And then also I have a short conversation with Yaski about pyramids, with Athena, with Aneka about Cheops. Also, I have information about Egypt, Meritaten, things like that. Then I also want to make a video, but that's maybe a bit later. A controversial video. That's why we never really went into it, about veganism, because actually, I'm going to say this very shortly to the new people, very briefly, very fast. I know there was a video in the very, very, very past. Svarov Era did that video where it was mentioned that you shouldn't eat meat. However, since then, the new information came up, and actually they updated this whole area, this message. And in short, just in short, just one sentence: eat what you feel you need, and don't feel bad if you feel you need to eat meat. Okay, so that's that. So it's going to be a video on the veganism that was given a long time ago. Also, I have short conversations about generally about health and nutrition. There was just like here and there from the conversations. So I want to make that. Also, a video about moon missions, Apollo missions. That's from the past. Robert did those videos long in the past, but I still have to do this. Nazca lines. That's, I think, Dorcalel mentioning that. Also, the video on Tartaria and time and the history, and how the time is not really how we perceive it. I mean, the time events, historical events, are not as in a sequence as we believe them to be. That's like a really metaphysical video that will blow your minds, seriously. Then a video about soulmates, about psychics, a video about how to break perception agreements, a video about how they are feeling doing this project, short things about Orion Empire, parasitation, and then I also have past videos about Iraq, what happened in Iraq, also Titanic, the spirit world, the conversation that Dale had long ago about some ancient artifacts, creation of clones, short video about autism I never shared, then all the metaphysical conversations that we had, more things about portals, more talks about timelines, and then it's going to be a separate video with various questions, like random questions. Yeti. Interesting. Daniel James, who is doing the Robert voice, he just told me recently that he had 5 encounters with Yeti. So he is actually testifying to their existence. So yeah, they're definitely real. And there's going to be a video about that, and also another series on not stellar navigation, but on ships. There's a lot of things about ships, because I have to tell you, they love talking about the ships. They love talking about navigation. It's like their passion. So I have a lot of conversations accumulated where Anneka is describing the interior of the ships, operational decks, how it is that the ships get lost in the timelines, for example, how that is. They are describing turbines and engines. They are describing uniforms and logos. On their ships, things like that. They are describing how the hangar looks like, with some example pictures. Um, how they are using, yes, I'm looking here at my list, how they are using, for example, when they fly UFOs, when they fly UFOs, their spaceships, when they fly around Earth, they use planes as the disguise. So it is described how they are using the technology that makes them look like planes, even to tower controls, etc. It was already explained by Dorcalel a long time ago, but more about this, and etc., etc. So all these topics are still very valid and very interesting. Okay, so what's going on in the chat? I'm going to have to finish soon. This was fast. Now in 15 minutes I have to do this in Spanish. No, you see, you're asking me things about the current things, but like I said, I do not know much about what's going on, and I don't have answers. Like, for example, Gosia, do you know about the recent destruction of the Georgia Guidestones in the USA? Well, yes, I know about it, but I don't know who did it and what's behind. I don't know. I may have my ideas, but I feel like I don't really want to, at this point, even engage in that direction, because I haven't contemplated the subject enough to give like a knowledgeable answer. So, current affairs, I don't know. And until they are back, I will not have anything on the current affairs. So that's that. For all the new people who are here, who are watching, also remember that on Odyssey channel, there's a whole playlist, 2 playlists that was censored on YouTube. But sometimes I see the comments like, well, what about, axines, papayas? What about that? Yes or no? Like someone is completely new to the channel, which of course there are many people who are new, and they see there's nothing on the subject on YouTube, so they think we never spoke about that. There are like 30 videos in a playlist on Odyssey just on that subject. So odyssey.com, Cosmic Agency. And there's also a little short list playlist about the war in Ukraine, given by Athena. So that's that. Thank you very much, Hunter, and everybody else. Let's see if I have any question that I can ask fast. Mick Flair is asking, I would like to know their previous thoughts on the TV programs like Ancient Aliens and others. I don't know, we never talked about that. My own thought about those programs is that, from what I saw, they are very basic. They are kind of very basic, but I haven't seen the recent episodes, so I don't know. We never talked about that exactly. Okay, so thank you very much. Yeah, I know you have a lot of questions. I have a lot of questions myself as well. We still have a lot to ask them if they are willing to come back and share more knowledge. Okay, thank you very much. In the chat, the next video tomorrow, short video about the responsibility, humans, starseeds, a short conversation, informal conversation with Athena and with Robert. So bye, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your night, of your day. And I will see you again in the next video. And sorry about the image quality. It wasn't meant to be this way. Thank you. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.